Center lane, one she's quite familiar with here. Over the last 4 days, she has gone a perfect 4-for-4 with lifetime best Canadian record performances, and if she can keep that up tonight, we will be celebrating her third world record here in Victoria. That mark stands at a 4:24.38. Right beside her, though, Mary Sophie Harvey in 5 has reintroduced this event to her program, has a lifetime best of 4:35, and then Ellie Jansen in 3 is also going to challenge. The standard is well within reach for all three. Keep your eyes on 3, 4, and 5.
And here we go, a very talented field, Brittany, but obviously the class of the field, the world's record holder in lane number 4, Summer McIntosh. She has been lighting this pool up left, right, and center all week long, and we're expecting a pretty fantastic performance here in the 400 IM.
Well, and I think one thing to note is that although she didn't come into the meet fully tapered, as the days go on, even though she's been racing a lot, her body is gaining rest, so we're expecting big things from McIntosh.
And she's out very solid. She's been as fast as 4:26 already this season under a heavy workload, and that just stands about 2 seconds over her world record, so I expect to see her out very quickly. We know her butterfly is doing well. She just missed that world record last night by 0.4 of a second.
And the key for the butterfly here is to get out fast and in control, get into a nice rhythm, but of course not push it too hard because you still have 3 other strokes to go.
So here she comes into the 100 wall. We want to see her around 59 low, 59.18. That equals to the 100th, her world's record pace. Now, what we saw in the 200 was all of that work that she's been doing on the backstroke come to fruition in that record swim.
Yeah, the biggest difference from her 200 IM to get down to that world record mark all came in the backstroke. You're so right, Jason. She split a 31.80 in her previous Canadian record down to a 30.8. That's a full second difference. So if she can cut and kind of revamp that here, as she takes 2 seconds off her backstroke, we're talking a whole different game here.
So we'll see if her pacing is down 34 low, 33 high. She turns at the 150 meter mark. Look at this, 33.1. That is a full second faster than she split when she broke the world record on that first 50.
And you'll see her tempo here. What I love about Summer is she never looks relaxed, right? She's continuing to push. That's what she has to do. You're world class, the best ever in this event, and she's really pacing well here at the halfway mark.
So the 400 AM definitely crowns the king and queen of all around swimming this event. And she is coming into the halfway point looking very strong. Her world record split is, well, she's under that world record split by a full second.
And this crowd in Saanich can keep her going because that freestyle, everyone is going to be on her feet. The breaststroke, though, she's continued to work with her coaches on, now training in French with Coach Fred Verneau, where she's really worked on that distance base. So I think that's going to pay off in the second half of this race because this is a grueling battle.
And we saw the backstroke with all of that improvement in the 200, but in talking to her, listening to her after the race, she felt she really made an improvement on the breaststroke leg, and we're seeing her here right now.
Yeah, it looks really smooth through the water here. You can see she's working on the timing in and out of the turns.
And a nice solid split. She's still 0.6 under world record pace. A very strong first 50 meters of breaststroke. We'll see what she does here on the back end. She should be able to keep this second 50 in time very close to what she did in the first.
And she's putting together one of the best meets in history, if not for Canadian, absolutely. But Summer McIntosh, this is how she's leaving her stamp here on the 2025 National Championships. This is her last event. Is she able to leave it on this note?
So we want to see down at 323 mid at this 300 meter mark. It will tell us that she is on pace and will be able to challenge that record. And there she is. She's still 1/10 of a second under the world's record pace.
And here, this is about grit. This is what you work for. She's trained all year for moments like this. She's got to dig deep. Just because she's under world record pace, it's within, like you mentioned, it is very close here. And the 400 IM is absolutely brutal when it comes to feeling the weight of your body here on this final 50.
So we're going to see what she can do. She is already the fastest the world has ever seen. So a tough challenge for her to rise up to that standard, but she is still on pace. She's now under it. She did a great job on that first 50, 30.9.
And here comes Summer McIntosh putting together one of the most impressive weeks of swimming I know I have ever witnessed. She is on pace for her third world record this week. Get excited, everyone.
So that world record mark, it stands at a 4:24.38. She has 10 meters to go, and she is reaching hard to the wall. McIntosh to the finish, and it is! She destroys it again. 4:23.65. What an incredible last 50 at 29.3. What a swim by McIntosh.
And a lifetime best performance there for Mary Sophie Harvey to come in for the silver medal. What another great week she has had. But there you are witnessing history, the fastest performance in the women's 400 IM of all time. Summer McIntosh just swam 5 events in the span of 5 days, set 5 Canadian records and 3 world records. Take a deep breath, Summer. This is your moment.
An absolutely incredible performance. The top 3 swimmers all underneath that World Championship qualifying standard, and of course Canadian record, the world's record by Summer McIntosh. She took 0.7 of a second off of her own standard.
Can we also just acknowledge she came home faster in her 400 IM than she finished in her 200 IM, which I was trying to bring some context into how hard the last 50 of a 400 IM is, but she wipes any expectation I ever have out of the water. What we're witnessing is unbelievable. Congratulations, Summer, and we'll hear now what she has to say with Chris Heinmark-Watson.
Ladies and gentlemen, Summer McIntosh with another world record performance here in Victoria. 4:23.65, Summer, right from the start, under that world record pace from last year. What were you focusing on here in this race, or was it just about getting your hand on the wall under that time?
Yeah, I mean, going into tonight, I think I could do something really special just because this meet has been probably my best meet of my career. So I was really excited to finish off with probably one of my top favorite events and probably the hardest event. It's a good kind of practice for Worlds, as it'll be on the last day. So yeah, overall happy with the time. I felt really strong throughout, other than the last 25 breaststrokes. So I'll be definitely thinking about that during training the next few weeks.
The 400 IM has been your event the last number of seasons. You know, you won 2023 World Championships, you won 2024 Olympic Games. When you swim this event on the international stage, you're well in front of the field as well. How do you keep yourself pushing yourself when it's just you against the clock?
Well, I think world records are made to be broken, so by the time I leave this sport, I want to make sure that record is as fast as possible. So I think that really keeps me going, because I know there's always going to be the next generation of kids growing up, and they're going to be chasing their record. So I got to give it my best effort to see how long it can stand.
Over the last year, has there been one thing specifically, one stroke that you've worked on more than others to try and get this time down to that 4:23?
Yeah, I think breaststroke is always something that I'm continuing to work on, and it's definitely still a work in progress, but I think backstroke as well is something that sometimes is overlooked by people. I have a really good backstroke, and I've really used that in my IM to continue to lower my time.
Well, congratulations, Summer. Amazing swim. Victoria, Summer McIntosh.
Of racing is the fact that she was able to stay in that mode throughout. But here we see our junior finalist in the 400 IM.
And as they go, we'll note we did have 3 juniors in that A final that we saw that Summer McIntosh was swimming, and Shima Tagavi, just 13 years of age. She was 4th overall, and she did go under the world's junior qualifying standard. That does sit at a 4:54.02, but with this junior heat, they're going to combine the results from the A final and this junior final to get those final placings. We'll look to see if we can get a few more swimmers underneath that cut. Tyra Boom and lane number 4 from Barry Trojan is their top seed in this junior final, 4:59.44.
Okay, just a quick recap, because we do have the time on our side with this race. To summarize the last heat, Mary Sophie Harvey was in 2nd place. Has had a great meet, but does a very similar program this summer, so we haven't been able to talk about her a ton. She's going to be quite busy this summer as well. She's got her 200 free still to come tomorrow, but she's qualified in the 200 IM. She's qualified in the 400 IM. She's qualified in the 200 breaststroke. So that would set herself up for what we expect she'll do pretty well in the 200 free tomorrow, 4 events. And lots of relays. She's one of those athletes that's constantly on the relays, whether it's the medley relay, the 4x1 free, the 4x2 free. So congratulations, Mary Sophie, on a great meet as well. Ending it there with a best time. Not ending it, sorry, there's another day. But ending the night with a best time in the 400 IM.
So Naomi Minot in lane number 3. She's out in front, 105.15 in the 100-meter butterfly split. She swims through Windskill Dolphin. She swam 5:01.65 this morning. She's leading the field as we get on to the backstroke. And I think you just mentioned it, the versatility of a swimmer like Mary Sophie Harvey, much like Summer McIntosh, sort of the Swiss Army knife of swimming. With, having this 400 IM background, they can do all of the 4 strokes. Very useful for the relay, very useful for the 4x200. And with McIntosh and Harvey, some great speed as well in that 4x100 freestyle relay.
Yeah, I think this actually chatted with Penny this afternoon, who doesn't race the rest of the meet, so she's on her way home. And one thing that she mentioned was that the relays have potentially been, they came 4th. All 3 of the women's relays came 4th in Paris, But she said they're really looking to get them back on track after some good swims for her and Taylor, and knowing there's been a bit of an adjustment. And I know it, but I don't think I've realized it until she put it into words, where there's been retirements, but they've been kind of like chipping away retirements. It wasn't one massive retirement, but you see Maggie McNeil retire, Kat Savard, Rebecca Smith, all names that have been on the relays for quite some time. I think it's a really exciting new wave. I can't say it's a new team, but a new wave of motivation for this team.
Well, it should be very exciting as we make our final few selections for the relays. As Brittany mentioned, we do have the 200 freestyle coming up tomorrow. That will be we'll look to have a few different swimmers named to the team based off of that. Turning our attention back now to the water, and it's still Minot out in lane number 3 leading the way. The first 50 meters of breaststroke. We've got a few breaststrokers starting to close that gap. She turned it at 3:03.42, so she got 0.8 of a second up on Rachel Wigington in lane number 5. Wigington's been having a great meet all weekend long. Swimming for the University of Calgary Swim Club and vying for a position on that World Junior team.
And her and her brother really do the same event lineup. You don't see that too often, but I always find that I'm talking about Rachel Wigington, and then her brother comes out next. Of course, Lauren Wigington will be in the final of the men's 400-meter IM center lane spot. But this is where it starts to hurt. Well, it's been hurting for a while, but the breaststroke leg is really where it starts to catch up to you. And then by the time you flip over to this freestyle, it's all just about whatever you possibly can do to empty the tank. You'll see them try to breathe every 2 to 3 at the beginning to get as much air in as possible for this final stretch coming home.
Well, and so these swimmers a bit faster than they were this morning as they turned into 300. They got about 75 meters of freestyle left to go. It's still Minot out in front in lane number 3. As we mentioned this morning, she swam a time of 5:01.65. She's been as quick as 4:54. Let's see what she's got left in the tank here. She comes up to the last wall just ahead of Wigington, who's swimming in lane number 5, 4:21.08. She is on pace right now to get down very close to that lifetime best. And again, that World Junior qualifying standard, it's a 4:54.02. So we'll see how close she can get to that. It's Minot in lane number 3, out ahead of Wigington, and about 15 meters of freestyle left to go in our junior final. We'll have a couple 4:52s in our A final, with Shima Tagavi being our fastest junior so far at 4:52.10. It's Minot in 4, a time of 4:53.50, lifetime best, winning our junior final.
and under that junior time standard, which is very encouraging. Again, for the junior consideration, there's multiple factors. It's who's going to be on the senior team, and then there's also different considerations based on a fist bump, but a nod of, okay, I'm happy.
Yeah, always good to see the swimmers satisfied when they finish an event as grueling as that, the 400 IM. And ready now for our B final, the women's 400 M. So this will be our third and final heat. This is our best of the rest in the women's 400 meter individual medley. Off we go, and as Brittany mentioned, we will be doing the naming of some of our teams, not all of our teams, that are being contended for at the end of the night tomorrow. So if you're there watching the stream, please stick around to see all of the athletes named.
And it's one of my favorite parts because usually there are one or two at least discretionary choices, or somebody that counts themselves out, but a relay spot was reallocated, and or an athlete decides they're not going to end up swimming an event, that they have a busy program. And there's always this like pure elation and joy when somebody finds out they're on the team. So those moments are what it's all about. Stick around. That's tomorrow night, right after all the distance events.
So Eliana Phillips in the water in lane number 4. She's the top seed in this best of the rest final. She swam 4:58.79 this morning. Swimming in lane number 4 beside her leader. Right now that's Katie Forrester from Markham Aquatics. She was a 4:59.80 in the prelims. Coming to the end of the first leg, a little bit less than 10 meters, a butterfly to go. It'll be Forrester in lane number 3, touching the wall, 104.28. About a second back is Phillips from Cano. And then turning in third, another second back from there. Huni Chu swimming in lane 6. And Chu from the Markham Aquatic Club, just 12 years of age.
Getting any level of experience at 12, I think, is incredible. I'll say it once and I say it again, but having to come to a meet like this, swim the preliminaries, practice doing multiple sessions a day. Sometimes in provincial level, they don't even have finals until you're a teenager. So to get to practice what it's like to have to race 2 400 IMs within a day is a really good growth opportunity.
And I think for a 12-year-old, I mean, what an eye-opening opportunity here. Swimming in the finals just 10 minutes earlier, you saw the world's record in your very same event broken in front of you. Very exciting, very motivating for these youngsters that are here, and the hundreds and hundreds that are here in the building. What a treat that they have had, seeing all of this fine and fast swimming. Phillips in lane number 4 from Cano has taken back the lead as we come to the halfway point. She has moved by a Forrester swimming in lane number 3. She'll hit the 200 time at 2:17.81, a solid backstroke leg by Phillips. Turning on to the breaststroke. So Katie Forrester is sitting in second. And it did appear that our youngster, Chu, has moved up into third place after the backstroke.
And it does really, the breaststroke really is one of the biggest differential factors when it comes to an IM. You often see really strong butterfly backstrokers, but breaststroke takes a whole different athlete. Summer mentioned that she's been really working on her breaststroke because that was one of her, quote, weaknesses. I say quote because I don't really believe she does have a weakness at this point. She's the best in the world at her craft, but it was a struggle for her, and it doesn't come naturally for everyone. So a lot of people will build into this point of the race, and then other people, you can start to watch them drop back a little bit.
Well, and some great splitting here by Eliana Phillips, who's building on that lead that she managed to make on the backstroke leg, extending in front of the field. She's got a best time, a C time, that is down at 4:53.78. So she is about 5 seconds off of that this morning, but she is way faster than she was at the same point this morning in the preliminaries. We'll see if she is at the 300. You can see Chu moving nicely in lane number 6 down at the bottom of your screen. She's moved herself into second place. 3/4 of this race done, 3:43.55, so she's on pace to get underneath that lifetime best of her own. And Chu turning second at 3:48.56. She's got a best time. It's down at 4:55.
And Zhu with a really strong breaststroke coming back there in a 42.84, putting herself in second here in this B final. really beautiful technical freestyle as well.
So Eliana Phillips with the lead in lane number 4. She's coming up to the last wall. Here's the 350-meter mark of our women's 400-meter individual medley. And she's turning at a 4:18.9, so she is right on pace to get down to the lifetime best of hers. See how close that she can come, and hopefully she does get under. It's a 4:53.78. She's still sitting in second. She's got 25 meters of freestyle left to go in lane number 6 as we come to the end of this one. And Phillips looking strong still in lane number 4. Got 5 meters left to go. She comes underneath the flags. It's Edmonton Piano's Eliana Phillips winning the B final, 4:53.09. Lifetime best for her. And it is for Hunri Chu. Finished second, the 12-year-old, in a time of 4:54.35.
And her last 50 was a 31:50. That's very quick. Seems really happy with that for 54:35.
Good swimming out of our women's 400-meter individual.
And the results are now official for the B final. So we'll get set for the podium of the women's 400 IM. Expect it to get loud in here. Celebrate another world record performance for Summer McIntosh.
Quite an incredible set of swims by that young lady, Summer McIntosh. Still just, as you mentioned, 18 years of age. And you think of some of the other greats in the sport, like Katie Ledecky, about 10 years older than her.
It's unbelievable. But yet we're watching in front of our eyes, so we have to start believing it. But it was 5 days, 5 events, 5 Canadian records, and 3 world records. The 2 that weren't world records were both top 3 in history. There aren't words, and I won't try to put words to it, but I will definitely continue to try to. That didn't make any sense, did it? I won't attempt right now to put words to it, Jason, but over time I will figure this out.
I'm sitting here a little dazzled myself with everything that we've seen so far this week by McIntosh, and another chance to see her coming up in the awards presentation. A great swim by Mary Sophie Harvey as well. And Ella Jansen right down to her best time. All 3 of those ladies, wasn't quite at her best time, but all 3 of those ladies underneath that world qualifying standard.
And there she is. Bronze medal goes to East Swims. Ella Jansen, freshman at the University of Tennessee. Anyone under 440 is world class when it comes to the 400 IM. Doesn't help when you have someone going 4:23 in the same heat as you, but a really great swim. And Ella will be on the team to swim the 400 free. And in silver medalist, Mary Sophie Harvey, under that standard. We'll be adding this to her lineup at the World Championships this summer. Represents Camo, 4:35.56.
Just to put it in perspective, that 400 IM, there's only been 6 women ever under 430. There have been no other women under 425. There have been no other women under 424 with that new world record that she set tonight.
And there she is with a new world record. Summer McIntosh, her 5th gold this week. She said to me last week, I want to swim 5 events at Worlds to set myself up for 5 events at the next Olympic Games. Well, now she's got her lineup ready, and we'll see how she does this summer. What a thrill it's been to watch her, but it will be an added element when it comes to World Championships to see the rest of the world and how she is able to hold up with the pressure of coming in with the expectations she's now set for herself. But tonight was the first night Summer wasn't running from the warm-down pool, so a win is a win, because I've been so stressed every time she does it. I'm scared she's going to fall.
She did manage to time that one out a little bit better after day number 5. So, but you're right. I mean, the World Championships, like the Olympic Games, a tremendous pressure pot situation, if you will, much different than a national championships or trials like this. But I mean, she's already been in her short career to so many of them, and understands very well that type of situation and how to deal with all those external pressures.
And Summer's off to the side, throwing her medal and her new plush to a lucky little swim star, future swim star up in the stands. Now we'll celebrate the junior medalists. Naomi Minot with the bronze medal.
So I think all of these juniors were underneath that qualifying standard. Minot at 4:53.50. Some great swims out of these 3 ladies. And we've been watching Tagavi all week, and she's known, well, more for the breaststroke to us, but at a young age. She's swimming all of these events, including this 400 IM, which is a great swim by her, a lifetime best, and well underneath that qualifying standard for the World Junior team.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it does really, maybe breaststroke is your strength, but it also depends on the depth of the team at the time, right? Like, you think of someone like Mary Sophie Harvey right now that's taking on breaststroke. She might not have made that same decision a few years ago because we had such strong 200 breaststrokers here in Canada, but now can be kind of one of the premier breaststrokers on the team and has made it one of her priorities to work on. And so with Shima, she's going to continue to pick away at the breaststroke, but make an opportunity for herself here in the 400 IM to get to swim this event, hopefully at the Junior World Championships this summer.
Well, and I think you hit the nail on the head, and this is where that benefit of training and racing an event like the 400 IM, what it provides for you, because if you need to go left, focus on backstroke, or you want to go right and focus on breaststroke like Harvey has decided to do for a little bit, you've got that background behind you. And so a great lesson for all of these young swimmers that are watching people like Summer McIntosh. A great way to approach your programming. So we will have the men's 400-meter individual medley coming up right after this commercial break.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, sweetie. I was just thinking about you.
Well, guess who I just ran into?
Who?
Ryan Reyes.
I remember that boy. You were real sweet on him.
Grandma, no one says that anymore.
Well, what would you say?
I don't know. I'm low-key obsessed.
Like he's a hunk?
More like a snack.
Like you're hungry?
More like thirsty.
Sounds like he's the bee's knees.
I love these calls. I literally never know what you're going to say.
And we're back, and right away we're going to get to see our finalists here in the men's 400-meter individual medley.
And there are the top 8 in the men's 400 individual medley. 3 men in this heat have been under the Aqua A standard, and they'll have lanes 3, 4, and 5. The favorite will be in lane 5, Tristan Yagovitz, who's, judging by how relaxed he looked in the prelim, we may see drop about 10 seconds here tonight. He was this year's NCAA runner-up in the 400-yard IM. Lauren also competed in that event at the NCAA Championships as well. Both made their first Olympic team last summer. Lauren's been down at a 4.12 before, and Yankovich has been down at a 4.11. Gagne in 3 qualified to swim this event at the 2023 and 2024 World Championships. Eyes right now in the middle of the pool.
Well, as Brittany said, lanes 3, 4, and 5 are where the race is predicted to be. That's the 2nd, 4th, and 7th fastest Canadians all time in this event. Yankovich just missed the Canadian record by 0.3 of a second last year at our Olympic trials.
Yeah, and I was just about to say that. Brian Johns, that Canadian record stands from back in 2008 and hasn't been, come close to being touched. And Yankovich kind of scared it last year at the trials. So 4:11.41 is the time we're eyeing for that. He's been a best time this week already in the 200 IM, so we know he's in top form. But in order to send 2 men to the World Championships, that time standard is a 4:17.48. As I mentioned, 3 in the heat have been under it before.
Well, Wigington getting out very fast in lane at number 4. This morning his butterfly was a 56.98. He was at a pretty quick clip as well. Then you got Yankovich right beside him. And 56.13, 56.7 for Yankovich. So he is much faster than he was at trials last year.
Yeah, and Lauren, I was actually really impressed with. Throughout the week, we've seen some of the veterans take it pretty relaxed in the prelim, and this morning he put together a very strong time. Only really shut it down when it came to the freestyle, so I don't know if it was kind of a confidence builder or he just wanted to put himself in that uncomfortable position to be successful here tonight. But a solid fly, like you said, and here comes Yankovich to start putting himself in the top of the position here.
Well, very solid backstroker. Here's Tristan Yankovich in his own right, and here we go, 32.7. So he did outsplit Wigington by a half second. He's pulled almost up and even. He's just 1/100th of a second back. And, lots of perseverance on the part of Wigington. He missed making the Olympic team in his very best event last year and managed to come back a couple days later and do it on the relay.
Yeah, I can't put enough context into how grueling this race is. The 400 IM is such a mental and physical battle, so all the athletes that swim it really have to go through the ringer, but when it works in your favor, it's magic. But when the pain starts to build, it can be very uncomfortable. Right now, though, Yankovich is under Canadian record pace.
Well, and he's 0.6 of a second better than he was at the trials last year when he did his best time, so we could see back-to-back Canadian records. And he had a really strong breaststroke last year. 35.1 was his first 50 split, and he backed that up with another 35, so it was great swimming. But look at Wigington. He is not giving up in lane number 4, putting up a very solid breaststroke leg of his own.
Yeah, we know he has a strong freestyle too, so this is a really exciting position for both of these athletes to be in.
So just a little bit off on his pace as Yankovich on that first leg of breaststroke, splitting 36.1. Wigington looks strong. They're both great freestylers in their own right, so we're going to have to see what they get through to come into the 300. I actually don't think it's going to be difficult for them to get underneath the qualifying standard of 4:17.48. Really, it's just a matter of how close can they get to their personal best and perhaps even that Canadian record.
And I mentioned earlier, Lauren Wigington's best time is a 4:12.81. It comes from the Junior World Championships back in 2023. Yankovich's best time is a 4:11. That comes from trials last year.
So we're going to need a pretty quick freestyle if he's going to have any chance of getting down to that record. 3:13.84 is just a little bit off from where he was at the trials last year, but he looks very good through the first 25 meters of freestyle. Look at Wigington beside him in 4, looking very strong as well.
Yeah, Lauren's not letting him get away, although breathing to the other side. He's definitely aware of where Yankovich is swimming right now.
And Yankovich first to the 350-meter mark, 3:43.82, just a little bit less than a second as Wigington back in lane number 4. They're both going to go underneath that qualifying standard. It's going to be great to see 2 men underneath it.
And here comes Lauren Wigington putting his head down and trying to win this race.
Well, what a finish. Yankovich is breathing to the right. He cannot see Wigington coming up on his left. He might just sneak by him as they come to the flags, and the finish is going to be Yankovich just by 0.2 of a second, 4:13.15 to Wigington's 4:13.40. Both of them under the Aqua qualifying standard for this summer's World Championships.
And that is how you get better. You challenge one another. You push each other to special times. Congratulations to those two. Adding the 400 IM to, well, for Lauren, that was his first event. So Lauren Wigginton adds his name to the roster. Yankovich adds an event on top of his 200 IM.
Yeah, I just saw a big sigh of relief from mom and dad in the stands, as it should be. That's a very exciting swim for their son to qualify for the World Championships this summer.
And to have a 400 AM come down to the wire like that, these athletes are trying to think back to pretty much every hard practice you've ever done, letting it all soak in and trying to dig as deep as possible. But congratulations, what a race that was. What a solid performance.
And the two of them had a great race last year at trials. Yankovich was a little bit further ahead at that trials, and he was the only one to go underneath that standard. But you know, here tonight it was a fantastic performance, just as you said, both of them pushing each other the entire way along, with the lead trading back and forth the way that it did. Excellent swimming by these two young men. Yeah,
they say iron sharpens iron. And other than that trials performance for Yankovich, this is, you know, right up there with some of his best. His other next fastest performance is up at a 2:15. So, you know, although he's had one swim faster than this, he's only had one swim faster than this. So you got to be pretty satisfied with that performance and to build on that going into Worlds.
Absolutely. And shout out to our third place finisher, Eric Brown. A solid swim by him as well. Down at 4:18.56, just right on his lifetime best, only 0.2 of a second slower. But we're going to go to the pool. Chris Highmark Watson has our event winner, and we'll hear from him right away.
All right, Victoria, put your hands together for your winner of the 400 AM, Tristan Yankovich, here tonight. Tristan, a great battle down to the final touch with you and Lauren Wigginton. You guys were under Canadian record pace by 1.5 seconds after the first 100. Is that record from Brian Johns in 2008 in the back of your mind?
I mean, it has been since last year, since I just missed it. It's obviously a legendary record. It's been standing for however long. So I'm going to keep trying to inch at it and hopefully get it one day.
Chip away at it. Now, you're going to have the opportunity to swim this event in Singapore as you represent Team Canada this summer. What will you do between now and when you get to the meet in Singapore to really sort of tune in on this 400 IM?
I got to talk to Coach. Coach knows best, so whatever Coach wants.
Listen to that, young swimmers. Coach knows best, whatever the coach wants. Tristan Yankovich, congratulations on your win here tonight in the 400 individual medley.
And as we're welcoming these juniors, I'll just add that Jax Harrison was the fastest junior in the A final. He missed the junior qualifying time by 1/100th of a second. So it's completely up for grabs still. That time is a 4:26.41. They'll be looking for to try to get themselves on the Junior World Championship roster this summer. That'll be happening in Romania, end of August.
Not much of a margin, that 1/100th of a second.
In a 400 IM too. That's just not, that shouldn't be allowed.
Painful.
It shouldn't be allowed.
Well, we just saw Tristan Yankovich put up the 12th fastest time in the world so far this season in the men's 400-meter individual medley. As our juniors dive in, and a great start by Tuja Dreyer in lane number 4 from University of Calgary. He swam 4:31.25 this morning. Just a reminder that all of these swimmers in this junior final are age eligible for the World Junior Championships, and as Brittany mentioned, that qualifying time of 4:26.41.
out really strong in the first 50. Jordan Shaper in lane number 2, 27.0.
So some solid swimming here on the front end of the race. Dreyer keeping up with lane number 2, Shaper, as they come to the 100 wall. Shaper out of Nepean, Canada, and Dreyer, as we mentioned, University of Calgary Swim Club. And Dreyer looks like he's taking over the lead as he comes into the 100. He does have a personal best that stands at 4:26.50, so just a few 100ths of a second over that World Junior qualifying standard. And here he is out in 59.31 seconds. The first 100 meters, Shaper not that far behind. It's a solid first 100 for Mr. Dreyer, a couple tenths of a second better than he was this morning.
And one of the strategies that I used to see quite a lot in the 400 AM was to try to build within each 100, so to kind of get out there in a good position and then kind of build into the second 50 and kind of negative split in a perfect world. I don't know, Jason, if that was one of the coaching strategies you've heard as well.
It is. I mean, part of it is situational in that there's a little bit of transition when you're going from fly to back. It takes your body a moment to adjust, and obviously the very best have a shortened moment to adjust, but you're absolutely right. More effort in the back end of each 100, and I think there's even a little bit of balancing between upper body and lower body with the different strokes as well, because it's a very grueling and long race.
Yeah, really great point.
So here comes Dreyer into the halfway point. This morning it was 2:10.55, so he's a second better than that. And we're going to look to see if he can pick it up on that back end of the race. Shaper in lane number 2 still sits in second place, not far behind though. Liam Chu in lane number 5, just 0.3 of a second as they move on to that ever important breaststroke leg.
Yeah, and this is where we tend to see the lead change a little bit, and I can already tell that lane 3, Jacob Bugaev, is making a little bit of a push here. Nice technical breaststroker, but it's such a crucial event because you can maybe get away in the 200 IM with a not so strong 50 breaststroke, but a whole 100 breaststroke, you really start to see the field drop down a little bit.
And so here's Dreyer turning through the first 50 meters of breaststroke. 38.7 is his split. And so we haven't had too much of a gain by any of these other swimmers other than Bugaev, as you mentioned, in lane number 3. Look at this breaststroke. He's 3 seconds faster than the rest of the field, 35.4 on that 50. And I think the way that he's moving right now in lane number 3, he could be able to challenge Dreyer as they come to the 300. Look at him move with a great breaststroke, as you mentioned, Brittany.
And he's feeling that momentum. It's got to feel good when you're a little bit behind and then you get to just ride the wave here, and it'll, I imagine, have a really strong freestyle here as well.
And so they're only separated by 0.6 of a second. Bugaev, he did swim in our junior final for the 200-meter breaststroke as well, so we were expecting a great leg of breaststroke like that. We still got a bit of ground to make up on Dreyer, who's got a best time down at 4:26. And Bugaev, he dropped from 4:38 to what he did this morning at 4:34, so we could see another big drop here as they come to the last wall, as Dreyer returning in 4 minutes 30 to 4 minutes 95 is the split for Bugaev in lane 3. And you can see Dreyer now picking it up. He's breathing to his left. He sees how close his competitor is, and he's really starting to pick it up and go to the legs. So the University of Calgary's Tusha Dreyer, 4:30.30 at the 350-meter mark. We'll see how close he can get to 4:30, as it is Dreyer in the middle of the pool winning our junior final, 4:30.53. Bugaev, and another drop for him, so he's gone from 4:38 all the way down to 4:32.66. We'll hit the wall second, and another best time out of Kona Aquajet's Liam Chu. This time 4:32.72.
And we're gearing up for the final 400 IM of the night. I feel like I need to shake it off with all of the lactic acid buildup by the end of a 400 IM. I'm starting to try to put myself in these swimmers' position a little too much. But yeah, the final B final of the 400 IM coming up shortly. We have no foreign athletes competing, so all Canadians, all around the same age, to be honest. We have 18 through to 20. Nothing younger, nothing older.
Yeah, and so there are our results. Oh, we did have a disqualification. Bugiev, he had that great breaststroke leg. He was disqualified in that heat. As we get ready for the B final, it's the best of the rest.
And it's a tough event to have a time 1/100th shy of something in, but it's also a tough event to get disqualified in. Unfortunate to see, but that's why the rules are in place.
Off we go with the B final, the best of the rest, as we mentioned, much more pleasant sounding than when I swam. It used to be the banana heat. And every time you won the B final, the banana heat, sometimes those fruits would come flying in at you from the side of the pool. Don't see that too often these days. Things have changed. Things have changed.
Probably for the best.
And so our top qualifier in lane number 4, Carter Scheffel from Brantford Aquatic Club. He was a 4:31.41 this morning. Out in front, though, Sergio Cavito. Swimming in lane number 3, a fast first 50 meters of butterfly, 27.54. Cavito this morning, he swam a time of 4:34.18. And look at this, down in lane number 8, moving nicely as well. Tristan Labar from CNQ, he was 4:37.56. He is leading the way through the butterfly. You see a solid 100 meters out of lane number 8. Labar, 59.28. So that's the same speed as we saw in the junior final through that first 100. And there are different strategies in here with different strokes and different strengths.
Well, I think the biggest thing I'm just even witnessing right now is the leg involvement in the backstroke. A lot of people take advantage of giving this as a stroke where you can kind of preserve some of your backhand speed in the leg area, but it really depends too. You got to keep it moving, right? It's a race. At the end of the day, it's a race, so you don't want to save anything, but you do have to be strategic, and you want to get into a rhythm. That's the biggest thing. Most rhythms do require arms and legs. A lot of people do have a bit of a zip, but right now you're seeing lane 5, I would say, Edouard Daniel, who has a bit of a white water coming in behind him, picking it up a little bit in the legs.
And that's challenging, like we were talking earlier. It's a little bit of trying to move back and forth between upper and lower body. The breaststroke, it's a pretty leg dominant stroke, and that's coming up next. So to be able to be fresh as you turn over is always in a great position, but you never know. Some of these athletes, I'm sure, have great conditioning in those legs and can handle with that hard kick through the early parts of this race. 2:08.52 is a split time, a good outing for Smith in lane number 6, as we mentioned. He was down to a 4:34 this morning. So we'll see now if the lead starts to change with any of these strong breaststrokers as they make their way back up to your race leader in lane number 6, Harrison Smith.
Yeah, Smith's still looking very strong here on the breaststroke. Nice and technical, as you can see. Not getting up too high in the water, but he's gliding well off every stroke. Carter Scheifel, though, this is where he's coming in, a 36.76 there on the first breaststroke lap.
I also saw Justin Young. He put up a pretty solid split, too, down at 36.20. He's swimming in the outside lane at the top of your screen in lane number 2. Olympian swimming. But look at the length that we're getting out here in lane number 4 on stroke. Scheifel looking very good as he moves himself up, coming now to the 3/4 mark. They'll have 100 meters of freestyle left to go at this wall. And Scheifel splitting a time 3:26.23. He's got a lead of about 2 seconds on the field. Young moving up in lane number 2 with a great second 50 meters of breaststroke.
And his time from this morning, a 4:31.41. He's on pace to go slightly lower than that, but the rest of the field looks to be charging with a bit more kick and zip in their stroke.
Lane number 4, big legs there, as is lane number 5 and 6. With the big legs coming into the 350 meter mark. Look at lane number 6 really picking up. Harrison Smith doing a great fast first 50 meters of freestyle down to 30.7. Fastest split so far as they come home.
And Scheifel was breathing to the other side, and immediately after that turn, you see his legs come in with a little bit of a different gear. So don't ever tell me a close competition doesn't bring out the best in an athlete.
Absolutely. It's going to be a big, strong finish here in lanes 4 and 6 as we come to the end of the B final in the men's 400-meter individual medley. It looks like Carter Scheffel, well, I might be speaking too soon. Oh, he did manage to hold on by 0.2 of a second for the win. 4:28.17. Harrison Smith, 4:28.37. And Edouard Daniel Rousseau, time of 4:29.67.
And they challenged him really well. Carter Scheffel, 29.28 on that last 50. The 50 before it, he was up at a 32.
And that was really good. Smith, he had the fastest last 50 out of any of those swimmers. A nice way to finish off the men's 400 IM.
That is one race I'm glad in my life I will never swim again. It's painful just watching it, but congratulations to everyone that did it tonight.
Well, some very entertaining 400-meter individual medleys so far tonight here on day 5 at our Bell Canadian Swimming Trials. Saw one world's record that was done in the women. Some very solid swimming in the men, with 2 of them qualifying to swim this event at the World Championships happening next month in Singapore. We should have medal presentations coming up very shortly for our men.
Mel Zajak's put to work here. He's got medals to present, job to be done. That was some special words from him to start the night off. Talk about legends in the sport. It doesn't get much bigger than that.
No, and has provided a lot for swimming, in particular here on the West Coast with that Mel Zajac International meet. And as we mentioned, always very exciting when we get 2 swimmers underneath that qualifying standard. Canada gets to enter 2 athletes in this event at the World Championships.
And we talked about the success of the top 2 in this race that will go to Worlds. But I think what I wanted to touch on is that both Lauren Wigginton and the winner, Tristan Yankovits, it's the second fastest either of them have been. So although not a best time, it was their next best. And sometimes, especially when you get more mature in your career, although I hope both of them have a long future ahead of them, but once you pass like the 16-year-old mark, best times are hard to come by. So anytime you can get close to it or within a range is very impressive. But like you said, Eric Brown, talk about the tough events. Eric does the gruesome lineup.
Yeah, the 8, the 15, as well as the 400 IM.
And a new recruit to the eSwim family, Lauren Wigginton, will be the silver medalist here, gets his name on that roster for World Championships. We mentioned Yankovits has already qualified, but this tonight was Lauren's first time under that standard.
So well done, Lauren. Missed out in qualifying last year at the Olympic Games in this event, but has managed to do it 1 year later here, off to the World Championships of the 400 IM. And as you mentioned, coming up next, Tristan Yankovits, he's had a great meet all weekend long. I keep wanting to say weekend long, but this one is...
It's Wednesday. Sorry, everyone.
Wednesday.
We've been in this pool for too long. The chlorine gets to your head. Tristan Yankovits swims at Ohio State University, 4:13.15, second fastest he's ever been. Sets himself up well for the World Championships. The tough part about this event is that it's an event that goes to a semi. It's directly to final. So when it comes to an athlete competing internationally, often they make the team, and then if they're just shy of the final, it's really one and done. And that's what we kind of saw from Yankovits of his Olympic debut. But hopefully they can start to kind of chase their way toward that top 8, because that's how they're going to continue to grow and get more experience on the international stage.
Well, and he's 12th in the world with that swim, so the opportunity to, you know, if he can get down to that time, or maybe even a little bit better, a little bit closer to his lifetime best, he may get an opportunity to advance to the final at this summer's World Championships, which I think would be the step that he's probably looking for after just missing it at the Paris Olympic Games.
Absolutely.
And so our podium next will be for our junior age swimmers. saw Tuja Dreyer. He's led out at lane number 4, that junior final. 4:30.53.
Aiden Kirk, another name that's had a really strong meet here from that 800 on night, was that 2?
I think it was the
Night 2.
Yeah, and it was the 1500 for him. He still has the 800 to come up tomorrow.
Sorry, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
and
right.
he made a big 15-second drop to go underneath that World Junior qualifying standard. And he's got a big slate of heavy events this week.
It is nice, though, that they don't have to do the preliminary and a final for the distance races. Saves about almost a little over 2 kilometers of racing.
And the interesting thing with those distance races like the 8 and 15 at the Olympic Games, when they do them twice, they give them a day in between. So
Yeah.
you don't have to do it in the morning and then the night the same. You get an extra 24 hours, but not sure how much easier that makes it, but you do get a little bit extra time as compared to the other events. Jacques Harrison, a good swim by him. 4:26.42 to be our top junior here at our trials.
Mel Zajac likes to chat with all of them. I love that. He's soaking this in, as he should.
And there we go, our podium for our junior men in the 400-meter individual medley. And before we move on to our next individual medley events, we've got a short commercial break. We are back, and we do have some para-multi-class events coming up. Our first one is going to be the women's 150-meter individual medley.
Please welcome the pool deck now, your championship final in the women's 150 para medley. Accueillons mesdames et finalistes du 153 nages individuels para féminin. Lane 5 representing quickly swimming, Ali Van Wixmart. Dealing more from Royal City Aquatics, Jordan Tucker.
And it will be just the two of them here tonight. Ali Van Wixmart looked like she was bopping to a really good vibe coming on strong here. This event is for only SM3 and SM4 categorized athletes. Jordan Tucker will have lane number 4. Her personal best time comes in a time of 3:42.95. Already has 2 Canadian record performances here in the 200 free and 50 fly. And speaking of Canadian records, Ali Van Wixmart in lane number 5 set a Canadian record here in the 200 free as well. So we know they're both having great meets. Ali Van Wixmart is a 2-time Paralympian for Team Canada. Comes in with a personal best time of 4:24.26. We'll see what they can do here tonight.
And off we go. This is the 150-meter medley race. And so this one, exclusive to this class here in our para swimming events, as compared to the 200-meter medley. As I mentioned, Jordan Tucker swimming in lane at number 4 from RC Aquatics. And these Ali Van Wixmart in lane number 5. So no butterfly in this one. They'll do back, breast, and free.
We'll keep an eye. I mentioned their personal best times. We'll also keep an eye on the times they went from this morning. Jordan Tucker in a 3:43.42. Canadian record holder in the SM4, Joelle Rivard. Her time is 3:27.45. And the SM3, Nikita Enns. That record comes from back in 2023. Set it in Australia. And that's Ali's record to try to chase. It's not too far off.
No, just about 13 seconds. So we'll see if she can get a little bit closer here tonight. We had Tucker out in 105.12. Ali Van Wyk-Smart, she was 8 seconds back in lane number 5, 1 minute and 13.82 for her backstroke leg.
And throughout all the para events, we've been eyeing the clock, but we've been also eyeing their para points. So dependent on their classification, once they touch the wall. Luckily, we see it in real time. We don't have to do many calculations, but that will compare them across the board. So it's now a multi-class ranking, and we'll find out our medalists for this one. It will be between these two, and it was relatively close in the para point structure, but Jordan Tucker was ahead of Ali Van Wyk-Smart when we take their preliminary times into account.
So coming to the end of the breaststroke leg, and we still got Tucker out in front in lane number 4. And we will start to see the points countdown on our big jumbotron here at the pool as we turn off onto the last leg and get going on freestyle.
And I mentioned Ali Van Wyk-Smart in lane 5 as a 2-time Paralympian. She finished 11th in the 50 back in Paris and also 13th in the 100 freestyle. She swims in the S3 category. And if you're wondering why they are all listed for this in SM, there is a different classification for medley, and then there's a different classification for breaststroke. So each Paralympic swimmer would have a classification that is an S. They would have a classification that's SM. And then they would have a classification that's SB. SB is for breaststroke, SM is for medley, and S is for butterfly, backstroke, and freestyle.
Our two swimmers have hit the wall and onto the freestyle, the last leg. We've got 25 meters left to go for Jordan Tucker in lane number 4. As we mentioned, 3:43.42. That was the time that she did this morning. Canadian record, it does stand at a time of 3:27.45. And that was done by Joelle Rivard from the Mustangs. That was done in 1996 at the Atlanta Paralympics. And here we go at the finish. It's going to be Tucker in 4. A little bit better than she did this morning, so a nice drop down to 3:41.18.
2 seconds dropped. Got to be happy with that. She's been thrilled all week. It's been one of the highlights for sure. Every time I see her, there's a huge smile on her face. So it's great to see.
And for those of you watching the para events for the first time, you can see the 3 numbers beside the time, 685. That's the point score that Brittany was mentioning. That's something that starts counting down when they turn off on their last lap. As Ali Van Wyk-Smart comes underneath the flags, 5 meters left to go for her in lane number 5. It was a 4:32 this morning. And a nice drop by almost 4 seconds. Well, a full 4 seconds it was, down to 4:28.58.
And her best is a 4:24, so she's only a couple seconds off that. So a really solid performance there for Ali. Congratulations, Jordan Tucker, the winner there in the multi-class.
I think we'll get to hear from one of our swimmers momentarily. Results on the board now being declared official. Swimmers coming and making their way over to Chris. Looks like we're going to get to hear from Jordan Tucker.
Jordan Tucker, winner of the 150 IM here tonight. Jordan, the 150, improving on your time from this morning, under the MQS standard, and looking really good potentially for that selection to the team.
It was amazing. I felt so alive.
You're having a great week here in Victoria. We've talked to you already a couple times. What are you enjoying most about being in Victoria?
Probably meeting so many lovely people.
There are a lot of lovely people in Victoria, I'm told. So are you done now, or do you have more events coming up?
I have one more 50 back tomorrow.
50 backstroke tomorrow. Congratulations, Jordan Tucker, winner tonight in the 150 IM. Congratulations and good luck in your 50 back tomorrow.
And so with that, we're going to move on to the men's 150-meter individual medley, and it's, again, a multi-class event.
We now welcome the Paralympic men's multi-class para 150 medley. Lane 4 from the Jesus Club, Riley Martin.
And Martin coming to the pool deck. He did manage a best time by almost 9 full seconds this morning, down to 3:21.96 under his seat time. Seat time was a 3:29.95.
Yeah, and in 2022, he became the first Canadian in his classification to successfully complete a 400 IM, which I thought was pretty cool. Seems like the community got behind him for that feat. Represents the Kishu Swim Club. I hope the crowd gets behind him. It's always lonely swimming by yourself, but
it's almost like a time trial or a swim off when they're in there on your own. So try and see if we can make some more noise for Mr. Martin. See if he can improve on that big drop that he had from this morning.
yeah, that's got to be really encouraging. I know he's got all of Penticton, BC behind him. Hopefully he's got Victoria, BC behind him as well.
The Canadian record in this one, it comes from Sebastian Masabi. Time he did last year of 2:59.97. And as we've mentioned, Masabi's moved on to a different class now. Here we go, Riley Martin from Kishu, their lone swimmer here in the 150-meter medley for our men. Go with Riley Martin, and I think, Brittany, they did say that this is they are going to be able to name the team at the end of tomorrow's session for our Para World Championships. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that that's the case.
Yeah, well, tomorrow night we'll be naming the Para Worlds team and the World Championship team. The Para Worlds team, actually, this is a great time to chat about it. There are a few athletes that are still working toward their classification. So that's Felix Cowan and Shelby Newkirk. They were a lot of athletes, depending on your classification and depending on the disability, you have to get classified every year. Some athletes have to get classified every 2 years, but it is official that you can only do classification now at the international level. There are very few opportunities, and so it's for the World Para Series, the WPS. And in that process, Shelby has gone to a few different places, and unfortunately it's been deemed inconclusive. So, sorry, they're playing all by myself in the stands here in person. There's some laughs going around. distracted Brittany, and now we're back. So yes, Shelby Newkirk and Felix Cowan. What is going to happen is they are going to name 20 of the 22 tomorrow night, leaving room for what they're calling discretionary choices. That doesn't mean by any means that they automatically get to go, but they will wait for their classification. The event's happening in Mexico as we speak, so we'll know within the coming days. So that's really the only factor that we still have to wait around for. They will still name the 20 athletes tomorrow night that are confirmed, and then likely to add 2 more in the coming weeks.
Well, that is Martin in the middle of the pool. He was 103.6 this morning, 102.8 tonight, so 0.8 of a second better. We'll see if he can improve on this breaststroke leg. This morning he split to 12.34 when he came to the 100 wall, and it looks like he's going to be just ahead of that. Go with Martin. He's 210.53. So like we mentioned, he took off 7.99 seconds this morning from his seat time to get down to 321. It was a personal best, lifetime best, so it looks like he might be able to shave a little bit more time off of that.
And the Canadian record holder in this event, Sebastian Masabi, Paralympic champion, more known for his sprints. See him a little bit in the 50 fly, 50 free, but also the Canadian record holder. His best time is just under that 3-minute barrier at 2:59.97.
So 25 meters left to go for Martin from Kishu. Coming down to the finish with 15 meters left to go. And certainly not easy having to swim all alone, but he's doing a good job racing against himself and pushing his own pace as he comes to the wall again. 3:21.96, a personal best this morning by nearly 8 full seconds. And it does look like he's going to get underneath that again and taking off even more time. Look at this, a big 4-second drop down to 3:17.44. We'll get a chance to talk to Riley before we go to the medal presentations.
Do you want to note the para points? 658.
I'm not sure, Brittany, did you mention, is this event eligible for selection, the 150 for Riley for the World Para Championships? I think there was an MQS time.
Yeah, there was an MQS and there is an A cut, which would mean there is. Yeah, the A cut is 248 and the MQS is 301, so he's still a little ways away from those.
Now, Riley came into this morning and he went an 8-second personal best, and he just dropped another 4 seconds off his personal best here tonight in the 150. Riley, you dropped 12 seconds in one day. You must feel pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Both swims were in lane 4, and Summer has completely blessed that lane for us. So that was a part of it, but having fun here.
You're having a good time in Victoria. Obviously, you've raced in this pool so many times being from Penticton. What has it been like over these last few days here racing at trials in Victoria?
Oh, it's been fantastic. I've seen a lot of friends make MQSs, and they've had swims of their lives, just like I have right now. So it's exciting to see.
So you're going to go back, you're going to work with your coaches, and hopefully have some more big time drops in this and other events in your next races coming up.
That's right. Yeah, we still got things to improve upon.
Riley Martin from Penticton Kisu, congratulations. huge PBs here today at Canadian Trials.
So a great swim by a winner, and now we're going to set the stage for medal presentations for a pair of 150-meter individual medley. Medal presentations for both the women and the men in this event.
And that's what it's all about, right? A time drop, like he said. I loved his comment about Summer's lane. Obviously, she's made some pretty special things happen in that lane this week, so really cool for him to reflect on that as well. Magical water, this one is.
Yeah, it looked like some of that magic rubbed off on Mr. Martin, dropping another 4 seconds 12 on the day. It's an incredible drop for him.
Silver medalist here, Ali Van Wyksmart. Big smile. 4:28.58 was her final time. Para points 5:64.
That was a good draw from her morning swim till the evening swim of the finals. 4 seconds for her. Showing some nice morning to night improvement. Ali Van Wyksmart still grooving as she was when she went on her way out to the finals.
And look how proud Ali is. Jordan Tucker gets the gold medal. 3:41.18 was her final time. Another drop from the morning. And her para points time, 6:85.
Tucker, always loved her interviews, always so happy at the end of those races.
Yeah, what'd she say? Her highlight was that there were nice people in Victoria. That's so special. I agree, though. The people in Victoria are lovely.
Well, these crowds have been absolutely fantastic all week long. Sold out crowds every night. Making an awful lot of noise, and I know that the swimmers can hear and they really appreciate and enjoy. So we'll keep that up over tonight and one more night of racing.
These two seem like great friends. I still want to figure out what she passed her on the podium. Did you notice that?
She did give her something, and it's red, whatever it is, but I can't get a better look than that.
And over to the men's event, where we heard from our winner just a minute ago from Kisu Swim Club, Riley Martin. Time 3:17.44. Like you said, always finding ways to improve.
Yeah, and he did it. I mean, 8 this morning and then another 4 tonight. Great job by Riley. So in a moment, we'll be moving to our next event, which is a 200 medley for a pair of women, right after this commercial.
There you go. What do you think, Rover? Come on, Rover. Come on. Rover, I said go. Go now, Rover. Silly dog.
Red Bull gives you wings.
The new Red Bull Zero is here. New can, new flavor. Zero sugar, 100% wings.
And we are back, and with that, here come your finalists in the women's 200-meter medley for our para multi-class event.
And there you have the top 8 in the multi-class women's 200-meter individual medley. Katie Cosgriff in lane 4 was the winner last night of the 100 fly. Her lifetime best in this is a 2:35.10. And beside her in 5, Emma Van Dyck, also another Paris 2024 Paralympian. In those Paralympics, she swam to a 10th place finish in the 100-meter backstroke. She did go to World Championships back in 2022. Those would have been her first Worlds. Looking here to get back on that roster. Alyssa Smythe, though, out in 6th, had a Canadian record runner-up performance last night in the 100 butterfly, so we know she's also in really solid form. We got the times to keep an eye out for, lots of different classifications within the heat, so we'll continue to story tell throughout, but this is the women's multi-class 200 IM final.
And so Katie Cosgriff in lane number 4, she was our top seed by time and also by points, scoring 43 points this morning. And as Brittany mentioned, her best time, seed time stands at 2:35, so she wasn't too far off this morning at 2:37.31.
And this is one of the events we were on the podium internationally at the Paralympics, and Tess Routliffe chosen not to compete this year. I don't believe has formally retired by any means yet, but is not competing for the Paralympic team this year.
And so Cosgriff out in 31.64 seconds, so a few tenths of a second better, and all of these few tenths here and there, they can add up, and we could potentially see her down near that seed time of hers at 2:35. Turning in second, it's lane number 3, Maxime Levitte, followed by lane number 6, that's Emma Van Dyck.
Alyssa Smythe putting herself in a big position to drop some time here. They are put in their lanes based solely on time, so the fact that she's out in front has nothing to do with classification. It just means she's having a phenomenal swim.
Right, and I gave the wrong swimmer in lane number 6. It is Alyssa Smith. She did turn She did turn second at 1:11.32, so 1:09.70 was the split time by Cosgriff, and that is a full second faster than she was this morning. So she's pacing pretty close to get down to that seed time. Smythe, she's got an entry time down at 2:41.90. She was 2:45.91 this morning. We're halfway through this breaststroke, and it's still Cosgriff in lane number 4 out in front, moving up nicely. Maxime Levitte in lane number 3. Now Levitte this morning swam a time of 2:45.09, and her personal best, it stands at a 2:37.68. Coming up now, this is going to be the final turn, final wall for Cosgriff. Turns at 1:58.41, so it's a good second and a half better than this morning. She should be able to give that seat time a run for its money.
And you can see this is where the kick comes in, the final stretch, the final push. Athletes are trying to hold on here, but definitely empty the tank. A lot of them, this is their final race. A few have some tomorrow, but it's been a long week of racing, and they're digging really deep here.
So Katie Cosgriff in lane number 4, your race leader. She did put up a time this morning at 2:37.31. The time is 2:35.10. It's going to be right there. And 2:35.57, just over. Look at the score, though, 957 points. Smythe coming in next, 2:38.46, 905 points. So we'll see how the rest of these points shake out.
I'm quiet because I'm looking at the clock, and then I'm looking at my notes, and then when there's so many different classifications, I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any records or any notable moments. And personal bests, like you said, are MQS standards. We've got quite a couple athletes under those times. When you see a para point above about 800, it's very likely that they're right around that MQS. That's a minimum qualifying standard. But the athletes now still in the pool, notably Maxine Levitt out in lane number 3, are cheering hard for their teammates.
So that's Clemence Perret in lane number 1. Just a little bit less than 50 meters of freestyle to go. And we've also got lane number 8, just making a last turn, Allison Gobet. So right now it does look like it's Cosgriff with 9:57, Smythe with 9:05, and then I think next 8:82 Levitt. Around 2:41.09. So just 10 meters left to go for Perret in lane number 1. This morning she swam 4:35.61. She's going to be well underneath that here tonight. Comes in and hits the wall. Time 4:30.77, and there's Gobet. Down at the bottom of your screen in lane number 8. Time of 4:36.83, right on where she was this morning.
And your medalist there will be Katie Cosgriff with the win in 957 para points. And then Alyssa Smythe in second with Levitt with 882 para points. Looks like we'll be hearing from Katie Cosgriff, the champion here in the multi-class 100-meter individual medley. She was not under the A standard, but was under the MQS and already qualified, so likely if she chooses, can add this to her program at the World Championships.
So here we go on the pool deck with Chris.
Your winner tonight in the multi-class 200 individual medley. Your first win at a trials in this event in the 200 IM. Got to be pretty happy with that here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to have a lot more fun with racing and just swimming in general. And honestly, that race was a lot of fun. And I'm just happy to be close to my best times, especially heading into Singapore. So hopefully I can do better there.
Under the MQS time, so hopefully you're going to be adding this to your event schedule for this summer. The 200 IM, as you said, is a fun one. Is there one stroke that you prefer over the others?
Usually my fly and back is the strongest by far. I get caught on the breaststroke, and then the free is just trying to hold on and bring it home.
Katie Cosgriff, ladies and gentlemen, your champion tonight in the 200 individual medley.
There we go with the women. Our next event will be the men's 200 medley. It's a multi-class event. Finalists coming to the pool deck.
Next up, we go to the pool deck for the men's championship final in the para 200 medley. Lane 7 from McGill University, Chastity
And there you have it, our final 8 in the multi-class 200-meter individual medley on the men's side. The favorite in lane number 4, Paralympic champion in this event from Paris, Nicholas Bennett, swims in the SM14 category. Now, I got confirmation yesterday, actually, that Nick will be following his sister. So he currently swims for the Red Deer Catalina Swim Club. He will be moving to Montreal next year to join his coach, Haley Bennett-Osborne, who was named the head coach of the High Performance Center Quebec. And they'll be going just after Para World. So something's working right now. They'll stick to it. I do want to give a shout out to Tyson Jacob, who didn't qualify for the final, but he broke the SM5 Canadian record this morning with a drop of 7 seconds off his previous record mark.
And well, that's quite an interesting stat, that the quality of some of these events, some of these swimmers, you can break a Canadian record and possibly not even get into the final, as the case was this morning.
Yeah, the MQS has been, something I'm sure that's evolved with the sport, but it really does help put into context how competitive these heats are and all of the different levels of success across the different classifications.
Well, and Bennett scored over 1,000 points this morning with his swim down to 2:09.40. He was 26.93 on that first 50 meters of butterfly. He's 0.8 of a second faster than he was on the way out. So he is really taking it to this race from the front end.
And beside him, Fernando Liu in the red cap has lane number 5. Fernando's gone multiple personal best times so far this week. He reached the Paralympic Games last summer, gained valuable international experience, and now he continues to build into that.
So here comes the halfway point for Bennett. This morning it was a 101.87, 00.36, so a second and a half better. And Liu is at the wall next in a time of 104.29. That equals essentially where he was at the 100-meter mark. Turning on to the breaststroke, and something that we have seen Nick very strong at.
Yeah, and we'll keep an eye on his Canadian record mark, because when he's going fast, you never really know. His Canadian right now stands at a 2:05.97. He set that at trials last year.
So already a surprise. He broke the para record in the 100-meter butterfly. I think that was his event a little bit earlier on. He's looking very strong here as he comes to the 150-meter arc, 135.92. So he's actually right on pace for a Canadian mark. It stands at a 2:05.97. And Bennett looking very good in lane number 4. His freestyle is very strong. He's a very good 200-meter freestyler. All he needs to do is come back in a 30 flat to challenge that Canadian mark. Again, it stands at a 2:05.97. Keep your eye on the clock. I think he's going to be just over. What a good swim by Bennett. Look at this, 1,030 points at a 2:06.36.
And we were referencing the Canadian record. It's also the world record, so he is the world record holder. I knew that, but I was just looking at his personal best, and you don't always put 2 and 2 together. But another drop, a personal best time for Fernando Liu in lane number 5 to get him 942 para points. So talk about best times this week. He's putting together some solid performances.
Yeah, a good drop by 5 seconds for Liu from this morning to tonight.
I think if Nick shaves his mustache, there's the other 0.3 of a second.
Well, look at this, though. In lane number 1, I believe Reed Maxwell has just broken his own Canadian record, 2:30.12, 968 points. Another great swim by the youngster from the Edmonton Piano Swim Club.
Yeah, personal best times are record performances, but congratulations, Reed Maxwell, a new Canadian record.
Well, the streak continues, Brittany, and the records are adding up each and every session. Very nice swimming by the men in our multi-class 200-meter individual medley.
And a full second he took off that Canadian record, so that's phenomenal. We're about to hear from Nick Bennett. Hear what he has to say about that big win, over 1,000 para points and just shy of his world record.
Gentlemen, Nicholas Bennett, your winner tonight of the 200 individual medley. Nick, under Canadian and world record pace by about 0.6 at the 100. You've only been back training for 5 or 6 months this year after a little bit of a break after Paris. Were you going for that record here tonight?
Well, we're just trying to get as close as possible. So it's a success.
So it shapes up pretty well for what we will see later this summer in Singapore, hopefully.
Yeah, well, we got 2 cycles to go through, so I'm excited.
You grew up on Vancouver Island. You've swum in this pool probably hundreds of times. What is it like being back in Victoria for these trials?
Well, like I said a couple times already, this is a second pool to me. Like, it's just amazing. I know so many faces in the crowd right now.
Well, congratulations. Nicholas Bennett, ladies and gentlemen, your champion here tonight in the 200 IM.
Thought? And as Brittany said, his personal best is not only the Canadian record, but it is the world's record in his category. Coming up next, in just a moment, we're going to have some award presentations. 200 IM.
And I do want to note, because it's the first time in the program we're doing this, but for the 200 backstroke, which is the next event, it'll be the men first and then the women. So just 99.8% of the time we're used to seeing the women's program and then the men, but don't go anywhere because both of those battles prove to be wide open in the best way possible. We can know a lot about swimming and still have no idea how those two are going to finish, so looking forward to watching those races to end off the night. But first, we're going to celebrate our podium performances in the multi-class 200 IM. Looks like we're just waiting for everybody to get over to the marshalling area.
So we're seeing the podium now, so they must be just about ready. First up will be our women.
And the bronze medalist here, University of Manitoba, Maxine Levitt. Swims in the SM13 category, 882 para points.
There's a coach with a quick snap.
Alyssa Smythe with the silver medal. I would call it a breakout meet for her. Multiple performances over 900 para points. Potential to get on this World Championship roster for this summer. And that's what's fun about the post-Paralympic and Olympic year. We get to know different faces and voices, and this is definitely a name I'm going to keep an eye closely on.
Of course, the veteran, though, here, Katie Cosgrave. 2:35.57 is her winning time. 957 points, representing Oakville Aquatics.
And that rounds out your podium, the multi-class women's 200-meter individual medley. Oakville Aquatics, Katie Cosgrave. I said this yesterday, but she does go by Katie. I'm sure her passport says Jamie, but she prefers Katie. Promise, we've double-checked that. Sometimes they just do the meet entries and they forget to adjust it, and then you're locked in and loaded.
Here come the men now. Again, some big drops from these swimmers and some fine performances out of those who got to the podium, as well as the rest of that heat.
Yeah, and Nick Bennett, truly at the Paralympics this summer, was a star globally. He won the 100-meter breaststroke, he won the 200 IM, and he got a silver medal in the 200 freestyle. And he's talked a lot about taking a a long mental health break, came back to the pool in January. It seems to be working well for him. Going to make a bit of an adjustment going into next year with a new training location, but not a different coach. He will stick with his sister. And he said about this week, having his family and friends here in Victoria to watch him means the world. Talk about a great meet, though. Fernando Liu, one of two of the youngest, go on the Paralympic program, delegation for Canada last summer. And the other one is the silver medalist in Reed Maxwell. So we talk about the future. Really, we're talking about all three of these individuals. Reed Maxwell will take the silver medal in a Canadian record time, 968 para points. Drops about a second off the previous record.
So nice job by Maxwell breaking his own Canadian record. I think that was the second one for him of the week. And the first S8 swimmer ever under a minute for 100-meter freestyle. And as Brittany mentioned, Nick Bennett, the winner of our Tour de Am, all sorts of experience there, Paralympic champion, and the world's record holder.
Well, those are three names we're going to be talking about for quite some time here in Canada, and we're proud to do it. There's a Go Nick Go sign up in the stands. That's what I believe Reed is pointing to now. But before we welcome our next finalists, we'll send it to a quick commercial break.
Pour devenir le meilleur dans ce que l'on fait, cela commence souvent tôt le matin. On veut s'y mettre, s'y investir, tout donner pour réussir. Et après toutes ces longueurs et tous ces efforts, c'est bon de réaliser qu'on le fait pour le Canada et les Canadiens. Les producteurs de poulets du Canada, fiers grands partenaires nationaux de Natation Canada.
In this event, Tierney in 4 is a Canadian record holder. He swam this event in Paris. We have Pratt in 5 and Norman in 8. Those three have been under the cut previously. The time we're looking for is a 1:58.07. And it's all like Aiden Norman has a potential to do a full outside smoke here. He was a freshman at the University of Florida this year. He finished 19th in this event at the NCAAs. And the rest of the field won't see him, which actually proves to be a bit of an advantage here. Cole Pratt with the win in the 100 back on night 1. He holds a 15-17 age group national record. He's in lane number 5. But it's the favorite, Blake Tierney in 4. Ben Lowen and Loic Corville Fortin also podiumed at the U Sport Championships. They're also in this field. And Ethan Eck, the 400 freestyle champion, a stacked final.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see the strategy in this one as it gets going. Brittany, as you mentioned, 4 of the top 8 men of all time in Canada are swimming in this event. We had Pratt in lane number 5. He won the 100, and we had Tierney in 4 winning the 50.
Yeah, and a special shout out to lane 3, Brennan. He took almost 2 seconds off his lifetime best this morning. Now in lane number 3, trains at the High Performance Center, Ontario. got to feel good about that race.
So it's Turney out quickest at the 50, 27:12. Not far back is Ethan Eck, the youngster in lane number 6. He's already swam 158 this year. So, he's going to be in the fight. You saw him win the 400-meter freestyle early on in this program, but it is Turney with a half body length lead on the field as they come to the halfway point.
Tierney looking really smooth. He's picked up the pace. You can see his turnover is faster than anybody else right now.
And so Turney turning at the halfway point, 56:41. He's actually right on his Canadian record pace. He's under it by 1/10 of a second. Ethan Eck turned third, and then in the outside lane in lane number 8, sitting in third, it's Aiden Norman.
And that Canadian record stands from the trials last year, so we know he likes to swim fast when he comes to these trials. Came off that disappointment in the 100 back, and tonight is making a statement here in the 200.
So we're coming now to the last wall, and Turney, he is out and looking to get underneath that standard after missing it in the 100 and the 50. 1:26:21 under Canadian record pace. Second is Eck. He is strong at 1:26:9. And it is in 4 and 6 right now. Sitting in third is lane number 5, Cole Pratt, with a little bit less than 25 meters to go. Eck now pulling up to Tierney in lane number 6 as they come to the finish. Watch the board. The Canadian record is a 1:56.74, and he does it. Ethan Eck, 1:56.54, a new Canadian men's record in the 200-meter backstroke. Second is Turney in lane number 4, 1:57.04. And third goes to Cole Pratt in lane number 5, a time of 1:58.70.
Well, we knew it was going to be exciting, but I'm not sure Ethan Eck was expecting a Canadian record there. He is very happy with that performance.
And I think that's the first time we've seen this water, but a great one there by Eck.
And he just really built into that race. The strategy there for the previous Canadian record holder, Blake Tierney, was to get out fast and try to hold on. The results are now official. We have 2 men added to that World Championship team in this event. Both Ethan Eck and Blake Tierney will swim for Canada at the World Championships in the 200 backstroke, and Ethan Eck is now the fastest 200 backstroker in Canadian history.
Oh, great swim by that youngster. He's still junior age eligible. So we could possibly see him at both the World and the World Junior Championships as an event. We'll have to see if that does fit in with his program and coach's plan.
Well, Jason, you did tease it a little after the Canadian Open, and midway through his season, he was already posting times that looked like this could be possible, but such a smooth race. I mean, he built within each 50. It never was over until it was over, but phenomenal performance there for your national champion, Ethan Eck, the future of both backstroke and freestyle here for Canada.
And I should qualify that 1:58.9 that he did at the Canadian Open, unfortunately for him, he was disqualified.
Oh.
But he obviously learned from that mistake and he was able to put that together in one heck of a race here tonight at 1:56.54.
Ladies and gentlemen, hands together. New Canadian record for Ethan Eck. Absolutely flying on that last 50. Did you know you had a Canadian record in you tonight?
No, sir, not at all. I thought I was going to go 57 high. So I was very surprised when I saw the time.
So you turned second at the 150. Blake was also under that Canadian record pace, and you just flew home on that last 50. Both of you and Blake Tierney under that FINA A standard, World Aquatics A standard. You'll both swim in Singapore. But was that part of your plan at all, or was it just to get a top 2 spot?
Just the top 2 spots tonight. I was trying to just go under 158 and see where Blake was. I never thought in my wildest dreams I would beat him, so props to him.
Well, congratulations. You were obviously pretty excited punching the water there. Ethan Eck, new Canadian record in the 200 backstroke. Good luck this summer representing Team Canada in Singapore.
A great swim by the youngster Ethan Eck. Winning our men's 200-meter backstroke.
Like you said, he thought he was going to 157, wanted to get on the team under the standard, and the Canadian record wasn't even on his mind. Pretty cool.
This is
what great competition, like you said earlier, Brittany, can bring out of our competitors. You saw it in the 4am and a number of other events, and both him and Tierney racing for that at that Canadian record pace, resulting a record for Ethan Eck. Right now we've got our junior final getting ready to go. Top qualifier in lane number 4, Parker DeHaze. He's already been under the standard in the 100 and the 50. So I'm a 205.18, the junior qualifying standard. Time of 201.80 right now, led by Canadian record holder Ethan Eck, 156.54 from the previous heat. We did have a couple juniors in the A final other than Eck. Francis Brennan, he was down at 200.08. So he'll also be under consideration for that junior team. He did some underneath that standard.
These junior standards are fun to keep an eye on because, like I said, there's so many different factors that go into deciding the team. So all of them are kind of chasing the time, but also the rest of the competition. Parker DeHaze, though, I haven't had a hair check on him lately. How's it doing?
I think it's sort of blending into more or less one color from where he started earlier in this week. Looking pretty strong though through that first 50 at 28.55. His best does stand at a 203, and it was a 205.18 this morning. He was a bit off the mark, just missed out getting into that A final.
I spoke about Francis Brennan in the junior category. He went a 2-second lifetime best to get into the final and then dropped a whole other second, finishing into 200.0. So that was a really great improvement and one that these men are going to be eyeing.
And so DeHaze with a early lead of a full body length here through 125 meters. And carrying that lead through to the 150 wall. There we go, last wall now for DeHaze. It's been a 131.11. So he is on pace to get underneath. Well, he's on pace to at least get down to his lifetime best. Stands at a 203.17. Saw Eck at 156. We saw Brennan at 200. And DeHaze is finishing strong. Good legs here in lane number 4. 10 meters left to go. Parker DeHaze looking to go underneath his lifetime best, 203.17, and I think he's going to do it. And DeHaze, a 202.15 personal best, winning our junior final.
Yeah, just off that junior time standard, but we did have a few under it from the A. Getting competitive to try to get on this junior worlds team. Oh, now we're getting our hair update. There you go. The flames are still flaming.
I think the flames are still somewhat distinct, at least on the one side. Oh, well done, Parker.
Results are now official. Winner of the junior final, Parker DeHaze, 202.15.
One more final left to go in the men's 200-meter backstroke. This is our B final. So here we go, lane number 4, Charlie Scalenda from the University of Calgary Swim Club. He did lifetime best this morning by a full second, down to 2:05.66. Going to keep your eye on the swimmer beside him in lane number 5. That's Patrick Groders. He does represent Aruba internationally. His lifetime best sits at a 2:26.
And there are different strategies in the 200 backstroke, as you can see here. Lane number 4, Charlie Scalenda, staying pretty far back on that first 50, but we'll have to keep an eye if he decides to kind of descend into the 50s. It is what we call a stroke endurance race, so it requires quite a lot of tough training and long hours, and it's not just a go. You got to be planning well of how you want to pace this race.
And pacing pretty well right now is Groders in lane number 5. Out a little bit faster than he was this morning, and even though Scalenda is sitting back, he's about 0.2 of a second faster through the first 50. Groders goes around in 59.9, and then Scalenda is a 1:01.84. He's sitting back in 7th now, but for Groders, that's about 0.7 of a second better than he was this morning in the prelims.
And out under a minute is always encouraging when you're looking at the times of these athletes. Patrick Groders in lane 5, the current leader, and looks to be building upon the rest of the field.
Yeah, Scalenda making his move now, trying to get back up to the race leaders, but he's got Groders out in front of him. Bender Winterborn in lane number 3. He turns second. Scalenda now back up to 4th. He did have the fastest 50 out of anybody on that length. Groders sitting at 1:31.93. It was 32.0 on that 50. So the rest of the field, they're sitting a little bit further back, but they are bunching up in lanes 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, Scalenda doesn't quite have the back end speed he needed to take this win. Right now, Groders is going to hold on.
Yeah, it's going to be Groders by the looks of it. Lane number 3 challenging, but it is Patrick Groders, the time at 2:03.88, winning our B final just ahead of Benjamin Winterborn and Charlie Scalenda.
Those results are official. And we'll get set for the podium finishers. We kind of teased over it because we were focused on the Canadian record performance, but Cole Pratt to go back to a 1:58 after, having to rebuild back his endurance. I think that's a pretty solid performance.
I think it is too, and I'm pretty excited on obviously on a personal level to see where he has
come
from.
So proud of you.
Yeah, and it's been about 4 years since he's been anywhere close to that time, and qualified for the Tokyo Olympic team in the 100, so it wasn't focused on the 200 at that time, and then unfortunately sidelined for a few years after that with a pretty debilitating injury that he's come back from now and is approaching those times that he did a number of years ago. So very excited for him.
Yeah, I say I'm proud of Jason because I always say, you got to talk about your son, and he stays so professional, which makes him so good at his job, but every once in a while, got to take the moments to be proud.
Just keeps trying to break me down.
He did look, the reason I make a comment too is that he looked like he had a genuine smile when he touched the wall, and those are really cool when you know the context behind them, and you've been there through the days of a lot of the really hard times too.
And it's very exciting in that event to see that many young men underneath and very close to that standard. It's very competitive. I know Norman didn't have as good of a backstroke as he wanted, but he's been down under there before. Cole will get back there. Canadian record holder Turney just saw his mark eclipsed, and Ethan Eck, man, he is going to be very strong for years to come. So we're going to go to the podium now. These will be the medals for the men's category of the 200-meter backstroke. Is Cole Pratt winning our bronze medal, a 1:58.70.
And to be able to back up his strong 100 back with a strong 200 back, like you said, training at the High Performance Center Vancouver, I think it's a bit of a nod to that things are going well over there.
Great training group, maybe, training partner with Blake Tierney. Getting underneath that cut into the top 2 after, finishing second but not under the standard in the 100, and winning the 50 but not under the standard there. So good resilience on the part of Turney to do it here tonight in the 200.
Your gold
How about this swim out of that youngster, Ethan Eck, 156.54. Everybody's pretty happy for him on the podium. It's a good sign for men's backstroke in this event.
And that was great to see his genuine shock after the time. A lot of athletes know what to expect based on pacing and practice and how things are going, but really built into that race strategically. Not only is he the fastest here tonight, but he's the fastest Canadian performer ever. And I'm sure Blake will look to challenge against him in the years to come.
Well, they'll get another chance coming up this summer at the World Championships. 2 men being able to compete in that event. Great sign of our depth.
And we're getting ready to find out if we'll be able to send 2 women in the Turner backstroke coming up next. Oh, silly me. I forgot about the juniors. But Ethan's just got to stay put. The junior champion.
There we go. So we did have 3 men underneath that junior qualifying standard. Jacques Harrison, Francis Brennan, and obviously Ethan Eck.
Francis Brennan was he on? Oh no, was he on the podium the 400 IM too? I feel like I've seen him already tonight, but maybe I'm going crazy. We'll look in the meantime. Keep focusing on what you're focusing on. I promise. Francis Brennan, nope, ignore me. I must have just been thinking about another night. Congratulations, Francis. Bronze, silver. Jack Harrison, bronze, and we're back with Ethan Eck. Oh, it was Jack Harrison. That's why I was confused. It wasn't Francis Brennan, it was Jack Harrison.
That's right. They said Francis Brennan, but it was Jack Harrison that we saw up there.
And Jack Harrison was in the 400 IM final, and he did get a junior medal. He won the junior event. Okay, I'm back. I trust myself again. I was going crazy.
We knew it all come around at one point.
I was going crazy. Jack Harrison, the bronze. Francis Brennan, the silver. Ethan Eck, the gold. And Brittany McLean-Campbell, the apology for all the confusion. 156.54. Good enough to win the overall. Good enough to win the junior. And we're going to go to commercial quickly before we welcome the women.
And we are back. That means we're moving on to our next race. It's the 200-meter backstroke for the women. A couple spots on the line, and here come your 8 finalists. Okay, well, this is a fun one. Summer McIntosh chose not to swim this event. Olympic bronze medalist Kylie Moss also chose not to swim this event.
And Canada's second entrant for Paris, Regan Wathwell, not here. So it's wide open. The top 4 lanes, 3 through 6, have all been at 2:11 before, but none have been under the cut. The cut stands at 2:11.08. We have Lloyd, the freshman at Ohio State University, in 3. Madison Krieger, the rising up-and-coming junior, moved her life from Niagara to Toronto to swim at the center and give this dream a go. She'll be in 4. And then the Olympian, Ingrid Wilm, out in 6. It's going to be a tight one. Anybody's game.
Well, and as Brittany mentioned, a great swim by the youngster in lane number 4, Madison Krieger. She did do a personal best, not by a lot, but it was a personal best this morning, down to 2:11.42. Zavros was right at hers at 2:11.46. So that standard that they have to get down to is 2:11.08. So we're going to watch, we're going to see where they were compared to this morning, and hopefully be just a little bit quicker.
And Ingrid Wilm is in the mix. She tends to like to get out fast, but doesn't always have the closing speed on the rest of the field. Like I said, it's very realistic we can send 2 women in this event, but they'd be brand new women to the national team, and that's what gets me excited.
Well, and that's one of 2 strategies for Wilm, because I've seen her plenty, and her other strategy is to go very, very relaxed at the beginning and really bring it home, and sometimes maybe just not give herself enough room. So this seems to be a little bit of a mix of both. I've never actually seen her in the 200-meter backstroke up at the lead here in Canada, coming through to the 100 wall. So we'll see what we get as these girls come around. The 100 is Krieger in first, 102.7. And Wilm at 103.1. It's a great first outing for these ladies in the 200 back.
And Krieger's been busy all week, but she's getting great race experience here. Still only 16 years old, building into getting to that senior international level. Her best time, like you mentioned, came from this morning, but she's knocking right at the door of getting to swim this individually. Before this week, she was the name I threw out there as the rising junior that we're going to remember their name after this meet. And I have confidence on this final 50, she's going to make it happen.
So 136.31 was the split time this morning, so she's 25 100ths of a second. That's almost enough if she can hold the same last 50 to get under the qualifying standard.
And here comes Mabel Zavaros trying to chase down the rest of the field. Delia Lloyd still in the mix as well. It's all Madison Krieger now in 4. Ingrid Wilm staying in the mix.
All right, we got 15 meters left to go. It's Krieger followed by Wilm and then Lloyd. That's standard. It's a 2:11.08 under the flags. It's just a couple strokes left for Krieger. And she does it. She absolutely crushes that standard with an amazing last 50, 2:09.88, and a personal best for Ingrid Wilm in lane 6, also going under the cut with a 2:10.54.
She did it, and she's overwhelmed with emotions. That was the dream, and it is now fulfilled. She's worked hard for this moment. She, like I said, moved her life from Niagara to Toronto to swim at the center and give this year, and they're actually standing behind me right now. Peter and Susan, special shout out. They've been driving her back and forth on weekends to be able to live out this dream. She's been doing school online, and now she's going to the World Championships. And she is thrilled. I'm just letting this moment soak in. Qualified for her first senior team at 16 years old, Madison Krieger. And Ingrid Wilm also sneaking under the standard, can add this to her program. What a phenomenal end to night number 5 here at the pool.
Well, and a great swim for the youngster. It is number 19 in the world so far this year. And a huge personal best.
She just skipped right over 2:10.
Yes, she did.
And he went right to 2:09. Here, we'll hear what she has to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, Krieger, a 2:09.88 to qualify for your first senior national team for Team Canada. Obviously pretty excited right now.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm super happy with that swim.
So a 2:09.88. Ingrid was coming hard on that last 50. Could you see that she was over there?
Oh, I could see everybody, so I definitely had to just trust my technique and my training to be able to finish that.
So to hang on for the win, you're under that World Aquatics A standard, as was Ingrid. So you'll both get to race this together in Singapore. What does that mean to you to have a teammate as well in the same event?
It means so much. Ingrid is genuinely one of the nicest persons I've ever met in my life, so I'm just so grateful to get to do that with her.
Well, congratulations and best of luck this summer as you represent Team Canada in Singapore at the World Championships.
With emotion, this moment means so much to the athletes, and getting on that first team is always something so special. So congrats to Madison, gets to swim it with Ingrid. And important to note tonight, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first night where in all of our Olympic discipline events, we qualified 2 athletes in every event. So 2 in the 400 IM on the men's side, 2 in the 400 IM on the women's side, 2 in the 200 back on the men's side, and 2 on the 200 back on the women's side.
You're absolutely right. It is the first night that we have done that, and what a great night it has been with all of these swimmers getting onto these events. It's been fantastic, and we should mention that she is still of junior age eligibility, so possibly doing the World Juniors as well. And we did have another junior, Florence Robitaille, underneath that qualifying standard. She was swimming in the A final as well as we get ready for this junior final.
And there are our junior finalists here on our last event of the evening, penultimate heat. I learned about the word penultimate, and I like using it when I can.
I find that when people find the meaning, they do like to spice that up at whatever opportunity they get.
I saw you look right over at me because it's not a big word in my vocabulary, but hey, today it is. Penultimate heat of the night, the junior final in the women's 200 backstroke.
And as we are educating people in the sport of swimming, we might as well educate them in new words as well, because penultimate means
the second to last?
Second to the last.
I was really scared. I was going to
No, I wasn't setting you up. I was just helping you, educate our viewers. So 2:15.74 is the qualifying standard for the juniors. As we mentioned, we had 2 of them in that previous heat with Krieger and Robitaille underneath the cuts. Let's see if we can get a few more here. Avery Knight from the Barrie Trojans in lane number 4. She was 2:16.46, so just over that standard, but it's Ella Cosgrove first at the 50 at a 31.80. She was 2:16.81, so a very, very tight field here in our junior final of the women's 200 back.
Yeah, it is a really, really close one right now, too close to tell. And everyone makes their move a little bit differently here in the backstroke, but I would say Ella Cosgrove has the lead at the moment. Really smooth stroke, as you can see. Good tempo. Legs are involved. Building into the wall.
So it's going to be Cosgrove first through to the 100. Looking very smooth and strong. 105.75 to 33.9 split. Second, it is 0.7 of a second back. Olive Rogers from Etobicoke Swimming. Now, Rogers this morning, she put down a time of 2:17.97.
And that junior cut to keep an eye on, 2:15.74.
And so lane number 4 now making their move to come back up and challenge. Avery Knight having a good third 50. Looks like she's moved up beside Labrie in lane number 3. She's going to be very close to second on the last wall. It's still Cosgrove out in front, and then tied for second. It's Labrie and Knight in 3 and 4. So right now we have 3 ladies that are pacing to be underneath that junior qualifying standard. And it is advantage Cosgrove in lane number 5 as we come to the close. There's less than 20 meters to go. And Cosgrove with that body length, it looks like she's going to come in to win our junior final. This morning she swam 2:16.81. And here we go with Cosgrove at the touch. A good drop. Look at this, 2:13.96. And then 2 more under the cut. Going to be in lane number 3 at 2:15.41, followed by Avery Knight in 4 at 2:15.62.
It's always nice to see a 0.9.
That swam in the A final as well as this junior final. A number of them underneath that qualifying standard. And look, I think I counted at least 5 of them that went under the tuner back standard. We've got one heat of backstroke left. It is our best of the rest B final here in the women's 200-meter backstroke.
Now we're at our final race of the evening. We don't have any international athletes in here.
Off they go. It is Marissa Lauren in lane number 4. She's the top seed here in the B final. 2:16, 2:1. This one's for the Grand Prairie Piranhas. Looking very strong in lane number 3. That's Helena Montrichard. Montrichard this morning, 2:18.64. She's pushing the pace here through the first 50 for this B final. We're going to have lanes 3, 4, and 5 all turning very closely. Lane 6 right there as well. It's actually 6. Caitlin Schroeder from Olympian Swimming turning first at the 50 at 31.63.
Yeah, out very strong. Definitely separating herself from the rest of the field. Schroeder continuing to build into the race. You can see the tempo. It's nice and relaxed, to be honest. She's not really pushing any sort of kind of overextension, but looking good, keeping the legs involved.
I think Schroeder is looking very good. She's looking much faster than the pace she was holding to get down to 2:21.27 this morning. Look at this first 100 down at 105.43. A very solid second 50 at 33.80. Just outpacing the entire field there on the second 50 through the first 100 meters.
Time from this morning, 2:21.27. On pace, definitely to drop down. But the rest of the field is starting to catch up right now, pushing in lane 4, Marissa Lauren.
So we've got Lauren and Montrichard making up that ground here on the third 50. They made an awful lot, up as they come to the last wall. There goes Lauren, 140.69. Schroeder is back by a 1/10 of a second, but the momentum has shifted to Lauren in lane number 4. And moving up as well, we've got Montrichard in lane number 3. Starting to close, and we can see Caitlin Schroeder answering back to that push from the middle of the pool. With just 15 meters left, a little bit less than 15 meters to go. I think it's going to be Schroeder holding on in lane number 6 for Olympian Swimming. 2:21.27 this morning. And a significant drop here tonight. That's a lifetime best at 2:14.98. Caitlin Schroeder. And a gutsy swim from the front to take our B final.
And what a way to pace it, too. It looked like on the third 50 she was starting to drop back, but then kind of got into a secondary gear there and finished it really strong.
Nicely done at a lane number 6. That is another great night of racing, Brittany. As you mentioned, we had 2 women and 2 men in each of the 2 Olympic events contested tonight. First time that we've seen that.
And a world record, a casual one. I know it was over 2 hours ago, and we are off. We kind of moved on, but yeah, let's not forget it. We saw a world record tonight. I think we sometimes have to pinch ourselves to remind us of those moments. But yes, it's been phenomenal, and I truly think as much as the world records are elevating the program of swimming in Canada and what Summer McIntosh is achieving is unlike anything we've seen here in really ever. But I also think that when we look at the potential for long-term success of Team Canada, getting 2 people on the team internationally really is the starting point, right? And so to be able to say we ended the night having 2 Canadians qualify in all the Olympic discipline events, and we saw a couple para-Canadian records, I'd call that a success.
A very successful night, and I'm really encouraged by some of these youngsters getting in and on the podium, whether it's the juniors or even into the junior final. We saw some 12 and 13-year-olds swimming tonight, which is very encouraging for these youngsters. I think that we do have All of our swimmers down now for the podium. Some of the awards for the women's 200-meter backstroke.
Delia Lloyd from eSwim, 2:11.15. Finished third, just off that standard herself, but got to be encouraged with that personal best time.
Nice swim. And Ingrid Wilm going underneath the cut. And I apologize, I did say it was a personal best. She's been 0.3 of a second faster. It's still a very good swim for her. It's been a couple of years since she's been that fast down at 2:10.
I think I might have been the one that said it was her best time too, because I was looking up this afternoon. I thought all of them were at 2:11, but you have since corrected, which I love.
I've dug deep into the stats on that one, Brittany does. Sure. And what a swim, and such an emotional response, and so positive. It's great to see this youngster, Madison Krieger, dipping under 2:10, 2:09.88.
And what I really love, she knew that this would probably be her best shot to get on the team, but she continued to do her entire program. She swam in B finals, she swam in junior finals, and often that's not the case anymore. So it was really good and encouraging to see her use this as an opportunity to grow and to keep her heavy lineup of events and figure out what event will be her best. But right now, this is the best chance, and she took advantage of that. Congratulations.
Absolutely. And so a great swim by Krieger. We'll see her back in a second on that junior podium, which is up next. And we did have a number of swimmers go underneath that world junior qualifying standard. So the backstroke, again, very healthy. It's been healthy from Canada for a number of years. And this just goes to show it again here tonight in the 200-meter event. So there we have it, those three underneath that qualifying standard. Florence Robitaille, 2:14.53. Cosgrove at 13.96. And of course, Krieger, who we just saw get off the podium in the open final at 2:09.88.
Ella Cosgrove, really good performance from start to finish. But Florence Robitaille, representing elite, bronze medal in a 2:14.53. And there we have Ella Cosgrove, swimming unattached, 2:13.96. And maybe we don't have her. Oh, there we are. Now we have her. We'll be busy at the Junior Worlds this summer. He's qualified in a couple events now. And the gold medalist, Madison Krieger, who may also choose to do both as well this summer, similar to Ethan Eck, in a position where he can definitely do it. I feel like I started this story the other day and then we got cut off, but my first ever senior national team, I qualified in this very pool. I was 1 year, I think, older than Madison. I think I was 17. It was in Singapore, and I was just a relay swimmer. So I went, not that just is a bad thing, but I knew I wasn't getting a full race experience. So I went, I swam the relay, and then I went to World Juniors later that summer. Got to be on international podiums for the first time, and it set me up to qualify for my first Olympics the following year. So a really good development opportunity to do the double, and you don't have to sacrifice one for the other.
So it remains to be seen which of these swimmers on the junior team that have also qualified for our senior team will swim. But we've got coming up next the Bell performance of the day. For us, we'll choose that, and then we'll leave everybody who is still tuning in for the time trials. But our Bell performance of the day, we had a lot to choose from, and again, we're choosing somebody new every day.
Yes.
And so this time, Brittany?
We did have a world record tonight, but one of the highlights for me was definitely Ethan Eck's Canadian record performance in the 200 backstroke. Not only was it, the fastest Canadian we've ever seen, but just the joy and the surprise out of this young rising star for Canada. My vote tonight goes for Ethan.
And I second that vote. So I think that we're in unanimous agreement that our Bell performance of the day will go to Ethan X, 200-meter backstroke, 156.5 for a new men's Canadian record here at the Bell Canadian Trials.
And it's been another great night of swimming. Thanks so much, Jason. It's been fun to call all these races with you. And with that, one more night to go. If you do want to stay on the stream, the time trials are happening. But that's it from us.
Cassidy Piddock qui remporte la première série, 29-24. 29-24, Cassidy winning the heat one. Please clear the pool. On demande aux nageuses de sortir de l'eau, s'il vous plaît. Heat 2.
Top seed in Heat 2, Kiana Owens for Campbell River Killer Whales. Top time is Lennon Ebley in lane number 2, Toronto at 29.00. Swimmers, clear the pool, please. Heat 3. Top seed Heat 3, swimming lane 4. Ms. Nord Natation, Stella Spoto at 29.03 seed time. Top time is lane 5, Kayak Swim Club, Suncrest University, Melissa Edelman, 29.08. Swimmers, clear the pool, please. Heat 4. Top overall seed for the women's 50 fly. Lane 4, Calgary Patriots, Annika Cameron at a 28.02. Last two strokes looking like it's going to be for a 28.43 for Cameron in first. 5 point swim for the women's 50 fly in the time trial. Swimmers, clear the pool, please. Moving on now to the men's 50 fly time trials, heat 1 of 5. Early lead up to 25, lane 3. Calgary swimming Ethan Fass. Into the wall, fastest time of the pool, 25.50. Swimmers, clear the pool, please. Heat 2. Final 5 meters in heat 2. Up in front is lane 4. Yassine Kamal, Richmond Hill, finishing 27.23. Swimmers, clear the pool, please. Heat 3. Top seed, heat 3, torch swimming, Nathan Chan at 26.76. 1/100th behind that at 26.77. North York Aquatic, Adam Sarr up in front, looking good in 4 for Chan. Finishing first, though, Parks Tweedale with red-haired Catalina on the touch, 26.79. Swimmers, clear the pool, please. Adam Sarr, 1/100th behind, 26.80. Heat 4 up next. Top seed heat 4, lane 4, Quebec de Montreal, Maxime Yarmenko at 26-26. Into the wall, fastest time though, lane 3, Casey McDermott for Cascade, 25-7-8. Swimmers, clear the pool, please. Heat 5. Top seed overall for the time trial men's 50 fly. Lane 4, Neptune Natation, David Pan at 25-5-3. Cleveland Natation, Mego Fias, Frederic Saint-Pierre in lane 5 at 25-5-7 is 4 100ths behind as the second fastest seed in the heat. Into the wall, fastest time looking good in 3 for Alex Camrere for Pacific Coast at a 25-9-0. Swimmers, clear the pool, please. Our final event in the time trial swim tonight is the 800 freestyle.
Prochaine épreuve des essais de terre, le 800 mètres libre. Nous avons 2 séries dans cette épreuve. Et série 1.
2 heats in the mixed 800 free, heat 1. Coming up next. Our time finalists in Heat 1 of the women's the mixed 800 free. Lane 3, Olympian swimming Kayla Tai. Lane 4, Olympian swim club Jillian Archer. Lane 5, Natation Gatineau, Marianne Hoyer. Coaches and athletes, we have a disqualification event 431, heat 5, lane 8. Once again, disqualification event 431, heat 5, lane 8.
Avis de disqualification pour l'épreuve 431, série 5, couloir 8. L'épreuve 431, série 5, couloir 8 a été disqualifiée.
Halfway turn in heat 1 of the 800 freestyle. Leading time is an 4:39.96. Kayla Tai, Olympian swimming, lane 3.
Pour le premier 400 mètres, Kayla Tai de l'Olympian swimming qui est en avance. 2 secondes devant Marianne Boyer, natation Gatineau, couloir 5.
Meter turn now, leading time 7:02.83. Lead has swept to Natation Gatineau and Marianne Boyer in lane 5. now, leading time in heat 1 of the 800 free. Marianne Boyer at 8:13.61 in 5. Fastest time in heat 1 of the 800 free. Natation Gatineau, Marianne Boyer in lane 5. 9:22.34.
Belle nage ici pour Marianne Boyer, 9:22.34, avec son temps d'inscription de 4 secondes.
Heat 2. In the pool for heat 2 of the mixed 800 freestyle. Lane 1, Nepean Cat Barracuda is Lydia James Brennan. Lane 2, Canadian Dolphins Jimmy True. Lane 3, Quebec de Montreal, Artyom Boudadin. Lane 4, Quebec de Montreal, Malangua. Couloir 5, Quebec de Montreal, William Morin. Couloir 6, Quebec de Montreal, Louis Thomas Damour. In 7, Mary Trojan Swim Club, Scotty Sutton.
Dans cette série du 800 livres, Thomas Langlois et en couloir 4, le climat gothique Montréal, 8:30-35. Sertian Volodin qui mène après le premier 200, 2:4-37 devant Thomas Langlois et Louis Thomas Damour.
Halfway turn in Heat 2, leading time is a 4:13.34. Ancien Volodin, Club École de Montréal, lane 3. Followed second, Thomas Langlois, 4:13.73 and 4.
Course serrée entre trois nageurs de camo, Artiem Volodin, Thomas Langlois et Louis-Thomas Damour, que William Morin pas loin derrière dans le couloir 5.
Meters to go, 6:23.07 and 3. 4:10 gap between Ancien Volodin and Thomas Langlois, lanes 3 and 4. Louis-Thomas Damour for third in lane 6. Now for our leading 3. Third place switches over to lane 5. William Morin behind Langlois in 4. Volodin leads in 1. Lane 3. Fastest time of the pool, 8:28.04. Ancien Volodin, Club École de Montréal, lane 3, followed 31.07. Langlois, lane 4.
C'est Artiem Volodin qui remporte cette série du 800 livres 28.04 devant son coéquipier de camo, Thomas Langlois, et Louis-Thomas Damour, William Morin dans cet ordre.
Coaches, athletes, and spectators, that wraps up event 432, the timed 800 freestyle time trial. We now close off our session for day 5 finals. Thank you one and all for coming out to Saanich Commonwealth Place this evening for our 5th day of racing here at the 2025 Bell Canadian Swimming Trials. 1 day of racing to go. We'll see you back tomorrow morning for prelims at 9:30. Have a great night. Thank you to all of our volunteers and officials. We invite our officials and volunteers to make their way off deck at this time.
Swimming Canada would like to thank our partners. Natation Canada tient à remercier ses partenaires. The Government of Canada, le gouvernement du Canada. Speedo, your trusted swim partner from your first splash through every stroke. Speedo, votre partenaire de natation de confiance, de votre premier saut dans l'eau à chaque traction. Bell for better and all the ways it gives back to communities and sport across Canada. Mieux pour tous et toutes les façons dont Bell redonne aux communautés et au sport dans tout le Canada. Chicken Farmers of Canada, proud supporter and official protein of Swimming Canada. Les producteurs de poulets du Canada, fiers partisans et protéines officielles de Natation Canada.